you was able to do like some collaborative projects. You did something with the Makaveli brand. How did you
Yeah.
even get into that? Did you know Tupac, or did you just work with his mom, or?
Yeah, so go back. My initial part of this conversation was my first time in LA was to find money for my brand. Right. So I needed more money. So my first partner was there, but they're like, hey, my two partners didn't want to put no more money into it. They're like, go out to LA. That's my boss telling me, go out to LA. My uncle or auntie does a TV show. She knows she's well connected. She knows some rappers out there, whatever. And so around the time Tupac had just passed, right? Just passed. It was a big thing in New York. And I fly out there. First time really on my own in LA, not a girlfriend or not, just on my own. And I brought my friend with me. And we meet the estate manager for Tupac. I meet Afeni. No, I don't think I meet at that time. I meet the estate manager, who is, again, the business is so young. So merchandising, selling what you think is normal now, like album covers of vintage albums of or concert tees of your favorite rapper, that didn't exist back then. This is the first wave of rappers, and having merch on the side to buy was a new thing. So he was first into that. And that's why I tried to tap some money out of him. But he was like, I'm working with Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? So I made everybody there. And I'm like, unfortunately, I didn't find no money out there. So I go back home. I said, maybe we'll work together in the future. So that's 96. By 2004, the business I had peaked. I did about 50 mil with Esco. And then it's naturally like the rap game. And I'm okay. I understood the cycle. So you're hot one day and then you slowly taper off, because in the next generation don't want to dress like their dad. You know what I mean? So in fashion, that was happening. You know, one generation didn't want to look like the following, the previous generation. So that was happening in fashion. First time we experienced that, because we all thought, our brands would stay around forever. You know what I mean? But no, if we were attached to the music of that era, right? All those brands are gone, right? All of them. They're coming back now. But what I identified was the music. Tupac is the Black Elvis of this. And I was sort of the first one to really say that. I was like, he's Elvis. He's Elvis. And the quicker I understood that, the quicker I was like, so anything around him, if I build an apparel line around him, and I'm finishing my brand out. So I see my brand as aging gracefully. What's my next project? What do I want to learn about? Rewind the tape. I didn't know what licensing was. Pele, remember I just said that. It's what I have to learn what that is all about. So coming off of that, Esco, I am having conversations with 50 Cent on G Unit. He's also talking to Mark Echo. I was outbid on that project. I was trying. I think I put up a $500,000. Mark put up $2 million. So I was looking for my next project, and I had money to invest. What is the next project? And my friend, a sales rep of mine, told me, "Hey, my brother's teaching courses on Tupac, who just passed away now. He had passed away, but he's coming up on 7 years gone. He's teaching a course on Tupac." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." And white is college. So we're talking 2003, 4. And I'm like, that's interesting. So it is what I thought it was. He's Black. So I was like, let me revive that brand. Let me go get the rights for Tupac. And who had that? It was the first, when I went to LA for the first time. My friend had the rights. So I was like, yo,
Wow.
I have an idea. And he was like, when he didn't give me the money the first time, and he saw me explode in business, like I would see him, but he saw me explode, and he was like, so this time I was like, I have an idea. You want to do business with me? He's like, hell yeah. Because he saw the first time. I didn't have nothing, but I made it happen. And this time I was like, I want to do something with Tupac. And he's like, great. What do you want to do? Because, and you know, there's part of him that wants to make money with me, or also wants to hustle me. That's the way these guys are, the managers. They just, it's a hustle game. And I was like, look, I have a deal on the table for somebody's going to give me, I think it was $10,000 up front for him to have the rights to sell some images of Tupac or whatever. So the license deal, I was like, all right, cool. What is the price point of these t-shirts? And I heard him all out what he's going to do. And he's like, but I won't do the deal if you bring me something in 24 to 48 hours. But that was just him hustling, right? And I was like, why are you rushing me? Like, I was like, all right. So I was able to understand what the entire potential was, right? Pair that up with Makaveli's had the original Niccolo Makaveli. He predicted his death, and then he said he'd come back in 7 years. That was the history behind it. So I'm in the 6th year negotiating this deal for the 7th year to bring. I was like, I have to do this deal because that is meaningful, right? And it makes sense to me. So I didn't get the G unit, and I said, all right. I gave him instead of he got 10,000. He only wanted maybe 20,000 or something like that, right? Which at the time was a lot of money. I gave him 120. But I want the rights to everything. And you can keep your 10 G's. Let that guy do whatever he wants to do with your t-shirts. And he was like blown away. He was blown away. But the gimmick was, the trick was, I get a piece of the royalty on your side. So if I sign a deal for 10% with you, 2 points go to me. Right? So I'm locked in on his side of the deal. I'm going to go shop the deal around, see if somebody wants it. Obviously, it was not an easy thing to do, but I shopped it around. I had about, 6 months to figure it all out because the 7th year is coming up. And then found a partner, and then we made it happen. I bundled it up, not as Tupac, but I bundled it up as Makaveli. Why? Because that album sold 11 million copies. It went diamond. And nobody really, they didn't trademark it, so I had to trademark it. So I was insulated. I was protected. I learned licensing, something I didn't know in the past. So the journey was, I did my brand, now learn about licensing with the best. It's Tupac, right? So that happened, and I was well off with that because I created the actual functioning side of the business, and I was getting paid on the licensing side. So because people underestimated the power of Tupac, I was able to do these maneuvers and trademark the name. Like Universal Music Group didn't trademark Makaveli. So I was able to meet Afeni and say, here, this is your trademark.
Wow.
I was able to protect my position in the business, but I also said, here, Afeni, this mark is for you, for Tupac. I hope you guys make tons of money off. It's not mine, but at least I'm tied to it. So I didn't hold the mark. It's not mine to hold, although some people would have. But that allowed me to gain a lot of trust with Afeni. And we did about 30 million in like 18 months, like faster, way faster than I did my brand. So
wow.
Yeah. And simultaneously we were doing, they tasked me to launch Coogi, which was Coogi's directed, connected, let's say that, to Biggie. So I'm working with, indirectly the two, right? So I had launched Coogi the same year, with my business partners that I did Esco with. So I was busy, and it was fulfilling because remember what I said, I was like, as long as you're doing what you want to do, the ego part of having my name on the brand, I already did that. I got that out the way early. I did about 10 years of business with that. And I had grown to the point where I wanted to challenge myself. Licensing was one way. Reviving a brand was another. So Coogi was revived simultaneously in 2004. I recently revived it, I revived it 10 years later. But those are some of the collaborations I did. But meeting Afeni was incredibly dope. You know,